Good day to everyone, and in this video we will see the questions of GATE 2020 and power systems. Okay, so let us see this question first. So in this question it is given, out of the following options, the most relevant information needed to specify the real power P at the PV buses in a load flow analysis. Okay, so he's asking, what do we need to find the P at the PV buses in the load flow analysis is rated power output of the generator, rated voltage of the generator, solution of economic load dispatch, and base power of the generator. See, the answer to this option will be to this question will be option C. Okay, see what is the importance of economic load dispatch. See, we want each and every bus, or I should rather say each and every generator, to be working in a most economic way. Okay, so through economic load dispatch we find out the amount of power that should be generated for a particular bus, so that the overall distribution of power in a system is very economic. Okay, see, this is, I'm talking in a very layman language. If you want a deep understanding, you must visit the links in the description, okay, to get this. Okay, so let us now move to the next question. Okay, so next question, again GATE 2020 power system we are doing. A lossless transmission line with 0.2 per unit reactance per phase uniformly distributed along the length of the line connecting a generator bus to a load bus protected up to 80% of its length, okay, by a distance relay. Okay, what he is saying is that there is a lossless transmission line and the reactance of the line is 0.2 per unit per phase. Okay, and it is distributed along the length of the line. Okay, up to 80% of its length by distance relay, the line is protected. Okay, the generator terminal voltage is 1 per unit. Okay, so the generator terminal voltage, let me say as V1, is 1 per unit. There is no generation at the load bus. Okay, so if in a very layman terms, if I could draw the system, that this is a generator bus, let me say this is a load bus. Okay, so V1 is given to me as 1 per unit. This line from the generator side, okay, is protected 80% by the the reactance, your distance relay. Okay, so that is 80% distance between the generator bus and the load bus is protected by the distance relay. There is no generation at the load bus. Okay, so the power will flow only from the this V1 to V2, that is from bus 1 to bus 2. Bus 1 is your generator bus 2 is your load bus. Okay, the threshold per unit current for the operation of the distance relay for a solid 3-phase to ground fault on the transmission line is closest to. So see, it's just a simple question. Okay, so now he's asking what is the threshold value for the current for the operation of the distance relay. Okay, see, now one thing after reading this question that is very much clear to my mind is that there is some significance of giving 80% of its length. So what he is saying is that how much impedance will be seen by the distance relay, that we have to consider. Okay, so see, 0.2 per unit per phase uniformly distributed. Okay, so for impedance, or you can say X line, 80%, that is the reactance of the 80% of line will be 80 by 100 into 0.2, so it will come out to be what, 0.16 per unit. Okay, so now see, what is the solid 3-phase to ground fault? See, it's a simple thing. See what happens in a 3-phase to ground fault, and that solid means that your ground is shorted, that is, the grounding is without any reactance. Okay, so that is the meaning of solid. Okay, so in a very schematic way we can say that this is generator 1 per unit, this is your 80% line, the reactance of that 80% line is 0.16 per unit, and this is now faulted. Okay, that is shorted, so you have to find the IF. See, that is the basic feel of the 3-phase to ground fault. It's a simple thing. Okay, so so your IF can be given by 1 upon your 0.16. So your fault current will come out to be 6.25 per unit. Okay, so this is the answer. Okay, so just a simple question. Just read the question carefully and try to draw diagrams. Okay, then it will be much easier. Okay, so thank you. This question is over. Now let us move to the next. Okay, so we are doing GATE 2020 power system. A cylindrical rotor synchronous generator has a steady state synchronous reactance of 0.7 per unit. Okay, so what is given to me is, okay, see, in the exam I will advise you that you should always just don't think of the time. Just try to see the question very cool, in a very cool way. Just don't think of time that I'm having less time or more time. Okay, just go with the question. If it is striking you, then it will strike you after reading. If it is not striking you, then move forward. Simple as that. Okay, just don't get anxious about these. Okay, so a cylindrical rotor synchronous generator has a steady state synchronous reactance. So for the generator, we have a steady state synchronous reactance is 0.7 per unit. Okay, it's in the steady state. And sub-transient reactance of 0.2 per unit. Okay, if you are not aware of the meaning of the sub-transient reactance and transient and the steady state reactance of the alternator, then please visit the links in the description. Okay, so in just a very in a very brief intro, I can tell you, is, see, whenever there is a fault occurs, so at the moment the fault occurs, we say that this is a sub-transient situation. Okay, after that sub-transient situation that lasts for around like 1.5 cycle, after that for 2-3 cycles we have this transient region, and after that we have a steady state. So that is how we divide the reactances. That is, for a synchronous machine, the synchronous alternator offers 3 kinds of reactance after the fault has occurred. Like in the starting it will offer sub-transient, then it will offer transient, and then it will offer a steady state reactance. Okay, so that is the meaning of giving that the steady state synchronous reactance is 0.7 per unit and the sub-transient synchronous reactance is 0.2 per unit. Okay, so for more details you can visit the links in the description. Okay, so it is operating at 1 per unit terminal voltage with an internal EMF of 1 plus J0.7 per unit. Okay, so the I have made the link. See, okay, so you must now be aware of the like equivalent circuit of the alternator. Okay, so what he is saying is that your VT is your internal EMF is 1 plus J0.7 per unit. Okay, this is your synchronous reactance, and your VT is given to you as what? 1 plus J0 per unit. Okay, so this is the data given to you. This is your EF, that is your internal EMF, excitation voltage, it is also called as excitation voltage, and this is your terminal voltage. Okay, so if you are having some problem in understanding these terms, then please visit the links in the description. Okay, so following a 3-phase solid short circuit fault, again a 3-phase solid short circuit fault occurs. Okay, so where is my pen? Yeah, so again a 3-phase solid short circuit fault occurs. Okay, 3-phase solid short circuit fault. At the terminal of the generator, the magnitude of the sub-transient internal EMF is, okay, so he is asking the magnitude of sub-transient internal EMF. Okay, see, now we have to read the question carefully. See, he is saying that it is operating. Okay, so that means these are the steady state values of what? Your EF and VT. Okay, now he is asking that if the sub-transient in sub-transient region, then your short circuit fault occurs, the magnitude of the sub-transient internal EMF. So you have to find the EF. Okay, so that is the scene that we have to find out. Okay, so see, now he is asking that you have to find EF in the sub-transient region. Okay, so first we should know the fault current. Okay, so now in the according to the question, the diagram given to us is this, and he's saying the short circuit fault, three-phase short circuit fault occurs. Okay, so let me say this IF is flowing. So now this IF can be given by applying the KVL in this equation, that is your EF minus VT divided by your XS, and here your XS will be your 0.7 per unit because the synchronous alternator is operating. Okay, so that means that it is in the steady state. So EF minus VT by XS is EF is what, 1 plus J 0.7 minus VT is what, 1 plus J0 divided by XS is what, it will be your J 0.7. Okay, so don't forget this J. So on solving this, what you will get is your J 0.7 divided by J 0.7, that is you will get your 1 per unit. Okay, so that is your IF, that is 1 per unit. Now what you have to do is, now you have to find in the subtransient region. So in the subtransient region, the circuit remains same, but your this excess you will use, that will be the subtransient reactance. Okay, and your see, your VT will remain same, 1 plus J0 only, and your EF will change. Okay, see, you might try to think logically exactly what is happening here. So I will advise you, see, in GATE your focus is to solve problems. Okay, so just always approach question in the terms of solving it. Okay, so conceptually you're just trying to figuring out what is really happening in the question. You might refer books, okay, or you might ask on our doubt solving platform. Okay, but that is not very essential, because people usually waste a lot of their time in finding out the depth of the question and trying to analyze it. So you must analyze, but try to solve questions as much as possible. Okay, that is only going to make you uh, a top ranker in a GATE exam. Okay, so let me okay, so now let us solve the question. See, now what will happen is that your excess you will use is your subtransient, that is your 0.2 per unit. Okay, IF you have calculated, you have to calculate EF in the subtransient region, subtransient internal EMF. So it will be what, IF IF is 1 per unit, you have calculated, into your J 0.2 per unit. Okay, plus your VT, that is a 1 plus J0, so it will come out to be 1 plus J 0.2. Okay, and they have asked the magnitude, so your EFST magnitude will be, I hope you know this, 1 square plus 0.2 square, so it will come out to be 1.019 per unit. Okay, so that is the answer. So that is how you need to 1.019 per unit. So that is how you need to solve the question. Okay, so always try to approach the question in the with the thing in your mind that I have to solve this. Okay, so that is important. GATE 2020 power system. Okay, so now in this question, bus 1 with voltage V1 1.1 per unit is given to us. Okay, Q12 towards bus 2, that is your sending reactive power, and the voltage magnitude of V2 is given to you as 1 per unit. Okay, through a lossless transmission line, that is your R is 0 and your as an X, keeping the voltage at bus 2 fixed at 1 per unit. Okay, so this is always fixed. Okay, the magnitude of voltage bus 1 is changed. Okay, so this V1 is changed. Okay, so V1 you are changing, so that the reactive power Q12 new sent from bus 1 is increased by 20%. So let me try to formulate in this fashion, that is Q12, that is you changed your V1, so your Q12 new is what, is increased by, okay, so always let's read the question carefully, that is increased by, so it means that 1.2 Q12, what is this Q12, that is Q12 old. Okay, so let me write it down in this fashion. Okay, so the real power flow through the line and both the condition is 0. Okay, so the P is given to you as 0. The new value of the voltage magnitude V1 in per unit at bus 1. Okay, so we have to find the V1 new. Okay, so this is V1 old and V2 remains fixed. Okay, so that is the whole situation. So now he is given to us is that the real power flow through the line under both the condition is 0. Okay, so real power flow through the line under both the condition is 0. So what you have to do is here real power is given by V1 V2 by X sine delta, as it is a lossless line and it is given to us as 0. See, V1 has some value, V2 has some value, X has some value. So for P to be 0, this implies that your delta is equal to 0. So that is one thing we got from this equation. So now let us solve other things what are given to you. That in the new case, that is the new case, your V1 is increased to V1 new and your Q12 new is 1.2 times Q12 old. Okay, so I have to calculate the Q12 old. See, Q12 old, this is a sending end reactive power. So I hope you know the formula for the sending end reactive power. If you don't know, then visit the links in the description. So the formula is V1 by X into V1 minus V2 cos delta. So as delta is equal to 0, so your formula reduced to Q12 is equal to V1 by X, V1 minus V2. Okay, so now Q12 old is V1 by X, V1 by X, V1 minus V2. Okay, and your V1 by X is your V1 is what? 1.1. X is okay, X is not given. V1 minus V2, V1 is 1.1, your V2 is 1. So it will come out to be 0.11 by X. Okay. This is your Q12 old. Okay. So now, okay, so Q12 old we have found out. Now we will find the Q12 new. See, Q12 new according to the question is given to us as 1.2 times Q12 old. Okay. So 1.2 into Q12 old is 0.11 by X. Okay, so this is what we get from the question. Now what he's asking is that we have to find the V1 new. So we have to use this relation. So Q12 new can be written as V1 new by X, line remains same, V1 new, V2 is never changed, that is it is given that the V2 is fixed, so it's 1 only, and cos delta is 0, so that is also 1, so it will be this thing. Okay, now Q12 new we have calculated as 1.2 into 0.11 divided by X is equal to V1 new divided by X into V1 new minus 1. Okay, so on solving this, what you will get is 1.2 into 0.11 V1 new square into V1 new minus 1. Okay, sorry, V1 new square minus V1 new. Okay, so this is a quadratic. So on solving it, you will find out your V1 new as 1.12 per unit. Okay, so you will get the two values of V1 new, one in negative and one positive. So it's very much understood that your V1 new will be somewhat increased, we should take a positive value. Okay, so the V1 new is equal to 1.12 per unit. That is the answer. So GATE 2020. Okay, and this is the power system question we are doing, and this is the last question of GATE 2020. So congrats, you have done a lot. So now see in this question, let us read the question. So the buses I and J are connected with a transmission line of admittance Y. Okay, the two ends of which are the ideal transformers. Okay, turns ratio as given. Okay, 1 is to Ti, and this will be Tj is to, this will be 1. Okay, bus admittance matrix. Okay, so you have to find the bus admittance matrix, that is your Y. See, now in this question what we can see is that this is a question of the from the two port networks. Okay, so okay, so like I can do this question in a, and I have to assume something, and in that way I can solve this question. Okay, and see, you have to be very much clear about the two-port network. In the two-port network we study the ideal transformer. Okay, and in that the only important thing is that the how we take the direction of the secondary side current. Okay, so I will take the directions according to that concept only. See, I will take the direction of this side as into the transformer as it is II. Okay, this I will take it as I. Okay, and this I will take it as I J. Okay, see, now in the two-port networks what I am trying to say is, if this is your ideal transformer, okay, and this is your turns ratio, and this is your I1, this is your, in two-port network you always take the direction in this fashion, that is in the both the sides it is entering. So your I1 by I2 is given by minus times n by 1. Okay, so this minus sign is always there because the direction you assume is opposite. Okay, so that is the way we take ideal transformer in the two-port networks. Okay, so from where I get the idea of that it is a question of two-port network, because there is a bus admittance matrix he has asked. Okay, so that is why. Okay, so I am just playing. Okay, see, I am not very much sure right now, but I will try to solve it in this fashion, and let's hope I could match one of the answers. Okay, so always remember your objective is to solve questions. Okay, so let us start with this. Okay, so now this side it is Vi. Okay, so this side the voltage will be what? VITI. I hope you could do this much, and your this side voltage will be what? VJ TJ. Okay, so now you can see you have been given that this is Y, that line. Two buses I and J are connected to the transmission line of admittance Y. Okay, so here you can write it down as, see, V is equal to IY. We all know this. So you can write it down as VITI minus VJTJ is equal to I into Y. Okay, so from here your I comes out to be VITI minus VJTJ divided by Y. Okay, so now see, the other part that I could do is, see, I have to, what is my objective? I have to find out the what do you say, that I have to find out the bus admittance matrix. Okay, and what is the bus admittance matrix for the system is, that is your I1 is equal to what? Y11 V1 plus Y12 V2, Y21 V1 plus Y22 V2. Okay, so here I have taken this as your II, that is your I1, IJ as I2. Okay, and your V1 as Vi, and V2 as this Vj. Okay, so I have to find this Y11, Y12, Y21. So I have to come out with the equations in this fashion. Okay, so then I could find out your this Y admittance matrix. So that is in my mind. Okay, So that is why I have assumed this kind of direction. Okay, so that is the main logic behind assuming these directions. And you could also take this from the understanding of the equivalent circuit of the Y bus, the admittance matrix in the two-port network. Okay, the equivalent circuit diagram that we make. So there we take the voltage and current entering from the both sides. What is the basic two-port network structure? In the two-port network structure, the basic structure is in this fashion. What we are told is that always remember the directions. That is, the voltage polarities will be in this fashion and current is always entering. Okay, so that is what we learn. So that is why I have assumed this II and Ij in this fashion. Okay, see this happens when you solve the question, then things keep striking you. Okay, so this point didn't strike me at the starting, but while I was solving and while I was writing equations, then it suddenly came in my mind, and that is the truth. Okay, so that is how you need to solve. Okay, so never ever panic, just try to keep your pen moving and then things will come into your mind. Okay, so this is what I hope you are very much clear with the directions and why I have taken them in such a fashion. Okay, so now let us move to the question. So I is given like this, so now I could write II by I as what? Ti by 1. Okay, so this implies your I is equal to Ti into I. Okay, so this is my first equation. Okay, this is also one of the equation. Let me say it is second. Now let me write down another equation for this side. Okay, so it will be what? See, now here both the currents are entering, so I have to take this negative sign. So your Ij by I is equal to what? Tj by 1, and that too with negative sign. So your Ij will come out to be minus Tj into I. Okay, that is your 3. See how beautiful this question could be solved. See, now what I will do is I will put the value of I from the second equation in this equation as well as in this equation. So I will have the II and Ij in terms of Vi and Vj, and that is what I wanted. Okay, see, that is how you approach the questions. Okay, so uh, let me take another page. So I have got these three equations. So putting value of I from 2 in 1 and 3. Okay, so what is your II then? Ti into I is Vi Ti minus Vj Tj divided by Y. Okay, so it comes out to be Ti square by Y into Vi minus Tj Ti by Y into Vj. So that is my equation for II. Okay, so that is my one equation. Now let me take the other one, that is your putting value of I from 2 in 3. So your Ij is equal to minus Tj I, and your minus Tj I is given to you as Vi Ti minus Vj Tj divided by Y. So it comes out to be minus Tj Ti divided by y into Vi minus T, it will be plus here, Tj square divided by y into Vj. Okay, so that is your Ij. So I have got my both the equations. So I hope you know this, that this is your y11, this is your y12, this is your y21, this is your y22. Okay, so let us say which option is matching. So the correct option is what was my y11? Ti square by y. Ti square by y. Okay, so I have made a very blunder. That is this equation I wrote it wrong. I is equal to Vy, we all know this, so that is why I was thinking why the option is not matching. Okay, so I this into y. So, okay, so now let us just do some changes. It will be y. It will be y here, and it will be y here also. Okay, so these are my y11, y12 and y21, y22. So let us match. Your y11 is Ti square y. So Ti square y is a. So a, is it matching, right? Yes, it is matching. Yes, yes, a is matching. So a is the correct option. Okay, so that is the answer. So option A is correct. Okay, so just don't do those three mistakes that I have done. I is equal to Vy, we all know this. Okay, so this is all about GATE 2020 power system questions, and hope you are liking these videos, and please subscribe our channel and visit our website for more. Thank you.